Open this door. Have you lost your mind? They're probably shouting that from the other side of the thick door. I can't hear them, and honestly, I don't need to. I'm not looking for forgiveness. With a calm smile, I faced the three flustered faces behind the glass and gave a little wave. Well then, I said cheerfully, best of luck getting home safe. My name is Leah. I'm 30, married just a year, no kids yet, and still figuring things out. By day, I'm an office worker. By passion, a wanderer. When I was single, I used to take spontaneous train trips on my days off. Nothing fancy, just me, a packed bag, and the open tracks. Isn't it lonely, traveling alone? Friends would ask. Sure, sometimes, but there's something quietly thrilling about moving at your own pace, without anyone else's schedule to consider. I liked it that way. I even had a favorite travel magazine I used to plan my adventures. Then, something odd started happening. Wait, didn't I see that guy last weekend too? At first, I thought it was coincidence. The third time, I wondered if it was fate, if I were the type to believe in that. Mostly, it just creeped me out a little. Turns out, he felt the same. Sorry if this is weird, but haven't we met before? Last week, and the week before? Totally different towns? He approached cautiously, like someone trying not to get pepper sprayed. You don't think I'm following you, do you? To ease the tension, I pulled out my travel magazine and said, I plan my trips with this. His eyes lit up. Wait, me too, he said, pulling out the same magazine and laughing in disbelief. That's how I met Henry, now my husband. Quirky, spontaneous, and incredibly light on baggage, literally and figuratively. I travel light, he said once, cashless, wireless, carefree, just my phone and I'm set. Meanwhile, I was the type who brought 3 backup chargers and snacks for a 1-hour train ride, but his perspective was refreshing. We swapped stories, shared favorite spots, and traded contact info. Though we both loved solo travel, we started exploring together. To my surprise, I found I liked it. Eating local food tastes better with company, and shared memories have a way of sticking around longer. 6 months in, he asked me to be his girlfriend. I was thrilled, we were on the same wavelength. Another 6 months later, we got married. That's when reality set in the form of Jack and Leah, my in-laws. They live about 30 minutes away, still working, still energetic. At first, they'd drop by often, but we eventually found a comfortable distance. Until one day. Hey, Henry, let's go here next weekend, I said casually. Sounds great. It had become our ritual, quick getaways, just the two of us. Lately, Henry had gone ultra-minimalist. He even handed me his wallet before leaving the house. I'm basically weightless now, he said, beaming. I rolled my eyes. Carry your own wallet, dude, but it wasn't a big deal. Then he dropped the bomb. Oh, by the way, Mom and Dad's anniversary is coming up. Why don't we invite them on our next trip? I froze. There was a reason I didn't jump at the idea, but I couldn't say no outright. Sure, I said, forcing a smile. We haven't seen Jack and Leah in a while. Henry, oblivious to the tension in my voice, nodded happily. The next day, he called. They're really excited. Great. Here's the thing, I don't dislike them, they're just a lot. I'm more introverted. Quiet places, calm conversations, that's my speed. Jack and Leah, on the other hand, full volume from the get-go. When we first met, they burst in with the energy of a TV comedy duo. Nice to meet you, I'm Henry's mom. And I'm the dad. I was stunned. We went out to eat, at their choice of restaurant. Naturally, it was an all-you-can-eat buffet. Meeting your son's girlfriend for the first time over unlimited soft-serve and self-serve curry? I had to laugh. We haven't eaten all day, we're so nervous, Leah chirped. Jack chimed in, gotta get our money's worth. Their voices carried across the restaurant. People smiled at them, amused. Me? I wanted to crawl under the table. I glanced at Henry for support, but he was already at the buffet, loading his plate. His parents soon followed, returning with heaping piles of food. I remember thinking, are they planning to hibernate? And then wondering, can I really fit into this family? I managed only a stiff smile in response to their overwhelming energy. My appetite had vanished. I barely touched my meal that day. Nerves had taken over, my thoughts clouded by doubts about my future with Henry. But then, as we said our goodbyes, his parents turned to me and said, what a lovely girlfriend Henry has. He may be a bit awkward, but please look after him, Leah. Those words, simple as they were, moved me. I loved Henry too, and in that moment, I thought, maybe I had them all wrong, maybe his parents weren't so bad after all. So when Henry proposed a few months later, I said yes without hesitation. But hindsight, as they say, is 20/20. At our wedding, any optimism I had was promptly doused. While everyone else was swept up in the ceremony, my in-laws treated it like an all-you-can-eat buffet, plates stacked high, conversations derailed by critiques of hors d'oeuvres. My own parents were appalled. The disconnect was impossible to ignore. Henry has a younger brother, Jonathan, the only one, it seemed, who was grounded in reality. "I'm sorry about my parents," he said when he came to greet us. It was honestly embarrassing. Later, my parents told me Jonathan lives on his own and doesn't visit home often. Apparently, the sentiment is mutual, Leah once complained. "That boy's always whining." The other day, he bragged about getting extra eggs when they were limiting to one per person. I scolded him. Jonathan, evidently fed up, had shot back. "Don't you feel bad taking more than your share?" When I heard that, I couldn't help but side with him. I mean, what's wrong with that, Leah? He's got a point. The first time my in-laws visited our new home, they came empty-handed. That wasn't the issue. What got to me was how they started opening cupboards and rifling through shelves like they were on a scavenger hunt. "Ooh, this is that snack from the commercial. And this one, I've always wanted to try it." They tore into my private stash like kids on Halloween. Snacks I had bought for myself, quietly tucked away. Henry, bless him, thought he was being generous. "If you want some, just take them home," he said. "Right, Leah?" I wanted to throw a cushion at his head. All I could do was smile, again, tightly, and try to breathe through the irritation. But I had a growing suspicion. These people weren't just exuberant, they were moochers. "I want this. Give me that. Ooh, is this new? Can I have it?" In the early days of our marriage, they dropped by every week like clockwork, sniffing out freebies. I was nearly driven to the edge. Finally, I snapped. "Henry, don't you think your parents are, I don't know, a lot?" My frustration boiled over into a full-blown argument. Henry just looked confused. "What do you mean? They've always been like that. It's nothing serious." He patted my shoulder, trying to reassure me. It backfired. "Are you serious right now? If this continues, I'm divorcing you. Do whatever you want." That got his attention. His face paled. And soon after, the weekly invasions stopped. I don't know what he said to them, but peace finally settled over our home. Still, the thought of traveling with them again filled me with dread. On the day of the trip, I was stunned when we met up. "It's been a while. You must be so busy with work, poor thing," Leah chirped. But my eyes were already fixed on something else. Where's your luggage?" They'd brought nothing, not even a tote bag. "Oh, we wanted to keep things light. My shoulder's been acting up," Leah said. The excuse sounded strangely familiar. And sure enough, the nightmare resumed. Midway through the trip, they discovered they'd forgotten their wallets. "That's strange. I could have sworn I brought it." They smiled sheepishly, clearly playing dumb. I seriously considered calling off the entire trip. Henry sighed. "They've always been like this. I'll cover it, but they'll pay me back." Spoiler, they wouldn't. His parents laughed it off, tossing out half-hearted apologies that only made me feel worse. At our destination, they immediately began pestering the store staff. "No free samples? That's stingy, isn't it?" When I bought a drink, Leah eyed it and said, "Can I have a sip? I'm parched. Can't believe I forgot my wallet." Before I could answer, Henry stepped in. "Stop it, you're embarrassing. I'll buy you one." As he walked off, Jack muttered under his breath, just loud enough. "What a stingy woman, no sense of generosity." I heard it, loud and clear. I wanted to reply, "And you're freeloaders with zero shame," but I bit my tongue. Should have walked away then, but I didn't. Not even when it happened again, and again. Trip 2, they brought wallets, but, surprise, they grabbed the wrong one in the rush. Trip 3, they forgot them altogether. It was no longer clumsy forgetfulness, it was a strategy. So finally, I confronted her. "Leah, be honest with me, you didn't forget your wallet, did you? You never planned to pay, right?" I had hit the nail on the head. Leah's face flushed crimson. "Hey, what a rude woman you are. Apologize to Leah," Jack snapped, glaring at me like I was the problem. Apologize? Not a chance. I'd been holding this in for far too long. "You two are just greedy. Plain and simple. As the argument heated up, Henry stood frozen, caught between his wife and his parents. Tourists nearby had begun to stare. Under their curious gazes, Henry looked overwhelmed. Then he whispered, "Please stop," and burst into tears. My heart didn't soften. I felt only disillusionment. Leah, however, rushed to him like an actress in a melodrama. "Henry, I'm sorry. It's my fault. You're so kind to cry for me." Jack stood beside her, silent. It felt absurd, like some bizarre performance I had no role in. Only one thought rang loud in my head. This is impossible. Let's get a divorce. Henry's tears seemed to finally douse their fire. Jack muttered, "We know we're often in the wrong. It's Henry's money. After all, we've taken advantage." He said it twice. I still don't know why. Maybe for emphasis. Maybe to make it sting. But those words, dripping with mock remorse, confirmed everything. They had been deliberately leeching off us. And Henry's money? Really? We both worked. His salary barely edged out mine. If anything, we were equals financially. But with every trip came more demands. "I want to buy this too. Let's get souvenirs for the neighbors." "Ooh, that looks delicious. Henry, buy that for me." Henry's credit card bills ballooned. We'd been living mostly off my income lately. I'd once believed in the idea of family money, that we'd be partners, not burdens to each other. But that illusion cracked the day we stopped at a cash-only shop, and Henry, walletless, called me over. Messed up. You know I don't carry cash, right? He casually reached into my bag, where he had left his wallet, and came up with a handful of coins. No shame, no thanks, just expectation. And meanwhile, his parents probably believed I was some gold digger, living off their precious son and daring to complain. When in truth, I'd always paid my share, and then some. As I watched Henry sob while Jack patted him on the back, I took a breath and smiled faintly. "I was wrong too," I said quietly. "Sorry for being presumptuous. You three go ahead, I'll grab some drinks and catch up." They smiled, relieved, and boarded the train without a second thought. They didn't see me turn and walk away. Henry's message came as the doors began to close. "Leah, are you coming? The train's about to leave." I stood on the platform, calm. His panicked face appeared behind the glass. I texted back. "I'm divorcing you. If your parents matter more, live happily with them. Goodbye." I ignored the flood of calls. He was causing a scene on the train, but I didn't care. His battery wouldn't last. It had only 20% that morning. He'd always said, portable chargers are essential. I guess he forgot that mine was in my bag, with his wallet. Good luck, Henry. I watched the train pull away, fading into the distance. It wouldn't stop for a while. Getting back would be a pain. I headed home, packed my things, and left. I stayed with a friend I'd already spoken to about the divorce. The calls kept coming, until they didn't. Then, my phone rang again. Unexpected caller. Jonathan. "Leah, I'm sorry. Did something happen?" Apparently, Henry had dropped his phone in a panic, shattering the screen. The parents-in-law had no one else to call. So they called Jonathan. All I got was, "Ask Leah why," he said wearily. I told him everything, held nothing back. I could hear shouting in the background. "Leah's making a fool of us, put her in her place, Jonathan," they screeched. They expected him to out-talk me. What a joke. Once I finished, Jonathan snapped. "You scoundrels, are you stupid? What a disgrace." I'd heard Leah mention that Jonathan gets scary when he's angry. Apparently, they never talk back when he gets like that. I could hear the chaos in the background, and quietly ended the call. Henry didn't take the divorce well, but once I went through a lawyer and requested zero contact, he gave up. Later, Jonathan filled me in. Turns out the parents-in-law were notorious freeloaders, moochers. Their neighbors disliked them. Even people from Henry's school days had bad stories. When Henry moved back in with them, their shame spread like wildfire. Now, all three barely show their faces in public. Henry's co-workers tread around him like he's made of glass, unsure how to approach the sudden collapse of his marriage. As for me? I'm just relieved, genuinely happy to have cut ties. Jonathan once laughed while telling me they're infamous at the local supermarket. "This is about to expire, give me a discount. It's damaged, I'll take it for free." He was always ashamed of them. Now, Henry's starting to resemble them too. Apparently, the in-laws were gamblers. They skimped on food just to throw money away elsewhere. That explained the hunger, the shamelessness. If someone asks why I got divorced? Simple. It was a difference in values. If someone out there can tolerate that kind of life, good for them. I couldn't. Now, I'm working steadily and pursuing a side job as a web writer, thanks to a publisher who noticed my travel blog. I still travel, just me and my suitcase. Last month, I earned enough to fund a solo resort trip, somewhere warm, with no obligations and no in-laws in sight. I'm 30, still young. Life is just beginning.